I'm about to spill the tea on my damn self right now. I wasted far too much of my precious, irreplaceable time, energy, and attention on trying to get other people to do what I was supposed to be doing for myself. Now, you may be asking yourself, what exactly is that? What is that thing that you were supposed to be doing for yourself that you were essentially waiting for other people to be doing? I'm glad you asked that question. Answer simple. I was waiting for other people to show me some level of support, some display that they were behind me, that they believed in my dream. For example, before I got back into music, which is my first love and will probably be my last love, right? Before I got back into songwriting, into producing, etc., there was a part of me that was waiting for permission, like this is the right time, the time is now, or just somebody out there to let me know that it was okay for me to pursue this dream. Because you see, from the time I started music and then the time I left music. So I started around 14 years old and I left around 19. And then there's just a gap period there where I did a little bit and then ran from it. Did a little bit, ran from it. Right? But from the time I started to the time I finished, I was getting this messaging around me from the people closest to me. And this wasn't a slight. I do not believe it was malicious intent. I simply believe it came from a quote unquote well-meaning place, right? Where I was getting more resistance. I was getting more messages of I shouldn't be doing that as opposed to the messages of I should be doing that. Yet as a 14 to 19-year-old, I did not give a damn. I did not listen to anybody else's opinions, and I was going to do what I was going to do, and that's exactly what I did. And so for that time, consecutively, all I was focused on was making music. Well, making music, rolling blunts, and other extracurricular activities. I just leave it at that. But at the time, I was somebody who simply did not need somebody to tell me who I was or what I could or could not do. And I was facing resistance, and I had the sort of resistance around you, parental figures, family members, etc., that would have been extremely influential to a kid. But I still persevered through that. Now, fast forward into my 20s, into my mid-20s, and then late 20s, where I now am. And I found myself in a place where those stories of everything I had been told were more active. And I was so fixated on this thing of, well, is this really the right path? Should I be doing this? Is this truly something that I can do? And what I realized now in hindsight is that I was waiting on something or somebody to tell me, to let me know that it was the right time. And so guess what happened? 7 years passed. I got into marketing. I started up a little boutique marketing agency. I was doing my thing, hustling, grinding, doing everything I could just to scrape up a dollar. Most of the time miserable, but I masked all that pain. I masked all of that. I suppressed it all and convinced myself that this was something I was really desiring to do, which is pretty much everything I was doing at that time. And everything I was doing at that time does not reflect anything I'm doing at this very moment in my life now. And at this point, I'm now in a place where I'm doing everything that I've always wanted to do. For example, the reason I'm talking to you right now, the reason I'm looking directly into the lens of this camera, into the very core of your soul, is because I made a decision that, you know what? There is never going to be anybody who is going to pop out of nowhere, maybe drop out of the clouds or rise from the ashes. Nobody is going to come and tell me that today is the day. This is now the moment. You must start now. And it's so funny because when it comes to the more the path more traveled, right? The status quo, what everybody is used to doing, the things that we are oftentimes pushed to do, such as, going to school, having a formal education, going to college or some type of university, then getting a 9-to-5 job or some sort of corporate job, a blue collar job, whatever it may look like. That path right there that we are pushed into, that one is not only incentivized, that one's not only glamorized, right, by the people around us who believe that they're keeping us safe, but it's also, in most cases, the very same thing that is keeping us from doing what we're actually here to do. And so we believe in this narrative that that is the safe path. We believe that this is the path that's going to get me the most acceptance. It's going to give me the most validation and approval from those around me. And more importantly, it's going to keep me, quote unquote, safe. because that is the underlying message that we have gotten over a lifetime. And so we expect the very same people who are afraid to pursue the thing that is within them to give us that message. Like, just really let the math here. Let the calculus. Let the calculus calculate, okay? You expect an individual who has spent a majority of their life, if not their entire life, taking the safe road, or what they perceive to be the safe road. You expect that person to one day wake up and say, you know what, you need to pursue your dream. You need to do the thing that is a burning desire within you. What you need to do is you need to leave that job. You need to leave that university. You need to leave that environment that you have been seeing as your safety net, and you need to draw. You need to write music. You need to record a video and upload it to YouTube. Unless you are either living in one of two things. Number one is a fantasy, or number two is probably even rarer than a fantasy, rarer than a fairy tale, is if you're living in a family dynamic where everybody is supportive of everything that you do, no matter what you do. If you are either living in one of those two worlds, then this message probably does not resonate with you or relate to you, because the support is already there. But for the rest of us, right, here on planet Earth, you are going to face more resistance than you are support when it comes to those around you. Whether you are starting in something, whether you are now fully established and now successful or extremely successful, there are always going to be voices around you that do not want you doing the thing that you're doing. Now, at first, it might be because the people around you who truly care about you or claim to care about you believe that you're safer in not doing the thing that you want to do. So that's number one. Then on the next phase, once you're established, some people are looking at you sideways because it is starting to rub them the wrong way, right? The brighter you shine, the more their insecurities are exposed. So now you find yourself in a place where, well, people around you may be feeling some type of way about your progress and your success. But once you are winning, and we've all seen winning. I'm not talking about the Charlie Sheen win. I'm talking about real life winning, right? You're at the very top of that perceived mountain. There are going to be millions of voices that want you to either roll down, fall down, jump down the top of that mountain. Simply because every time they look in your direction, it points to something within them that they believe they cannot do or have. And so this, I believe, is actually an optimistic sort of perspective, right? I'm a very optimistic guy. Like, I believe in the best, truly. And I believe one of the most powerful things you could do for yourself is to accept that you not only will probably not receive the support of the people that you want it most from when it comes to you pursuing something that is within you, something that is your own vision, but also, and this is most importantly, that you do not need it. You never did, and you never will. I know this is probably breaking news right here. This is probably breaking news to some folks. So let me run it back. You not only have never needed anybody's support, but you never will. Now you might be thinking to yourself, okay, but I'm trying to create a YouTube channel. I'm trying to, put my music out there, films or whatever. Don't I need people to support me? Here's the thing. People can only support something that has already been supported. Let me break that down for you. Once you start to believe in the thing that you are doing, which is the only thing that matters and the only person you actually need to believe in what you're doing, then you will create a video, create a film, write a song, open a business, bake a pie, whatever it may be. And you put out into the world and you create an opportunity for somebody to support. So oftentimes we're looking at this like a backwards equation. We're thinking to ourselves, how on earth do I get people just to see my vision? Guess what? That ain't your damn job. They're not going to see your vision. Okay? It's your vision for a reason. You've been given the vision. You're the one who has this mission in mind. You're the one who is compelled to do this thing, right? In most cases, when somebody did something that was groundbreaking, nobody around them even thought that thing was necessary, needed, let alone possible. It probably seemed like insanity. Like if you come from a small town or a big town or a huge town and, you know, maybe you've had one or two movie stars who came out of that area. Let's say that. If you go around telling folks that you're going to become the third or the first or the 20th, first they're going to look you up and down, depending on the environment that you're in. If you're in the type of environments I grew up in, this is what you probably get. They're going to look at you like this, maybe 2 or 3 times, and then give you one of those. Roll their eyes, turn their attention to whatever else they're doing, right? That's probably going to be the reaction. A better reaction, but it's no different, is, oh, okay, that's nice. And when you think of support, I know that's what you're not thinking of. You're thinking of somebody who's going to champion you, who's going to stand behind you, who's going to be a cheerleader for you, right? You're not looking for a condescending remark. And so when you have the expectation of the people around you to be that support structure and system for you, in the very, very beginning, especially at that point, you've got it twisted. This is how law works, and I'm talking about universal law here, right? I'm not going to get too deep into the esoteric and into the metaphysical, etc., but I always got to bring up truth because truth is truth. Once you support yourself, then support is manifested in your life experience, or you attract those who also support you. It's just like once you make the decision to live a life of peace, then you will have more peaceful situations, conditions, circumstances. It's not the more you beg, the more you cry about it, the more you whine about it, the more you want it, the more you need something. As a matter of fact, that needy energy pushes, it repels, it keeps the thing away from you. So when you are not giving yourself the support that, again, is the only window into others actually believe in you, when you don't do it, then the rest of the world is going to mirror exactly that. It doesn't matter how good whatever it is that you're doing is. And by the way, I do have to throw this in there because it's something that I've also internalized. It's not about proving yourself. It's not about being good enough, right? That's why we have a whole lot of stuff out here, whether it is canvases or pastries or whatever it may be, that you believe aren't that good, yet they are successful. For some reason, there's an audience for it. For some reason, people are consuming the thing that you would not touch with a 10-foot pole. And you think to yourself, how the hell could this, how could they get away with this? How on earth is anybody paying this any attention? Why on earth would somebody watch or listen to, or I don't get. And when you get down to it, when you dig deeper and deeper and you really see what it's about and you really start to look at energy, you start to realize that it's because that person has a belief in that thing, and that's the only thing that ever mattered. This is why we have individuals who have the greatest talents. I'm talking about, dancers and singers who can sing and dance better than Michael Jackson, ball players who can dribble a ball and jump from behind the free throw line, right? Not just on the free throw line like Jordan, but behind, maybe 3 steps behind, that will never see an NBA court. Simply because they do not believe in themselves. They have not created that foundation, that structure of self-support, which is the only support that matters. And it is nobody else's job. This is something else I have to get to. I got to sip my tea before I spill it. Now I'm going to spill it. The only reason I wanted somebody to support me was because I was too insecure. I didn't believe in myself. I just put it that way. I did not believe in myself. I didn't believe that I was worth it. I didn't believe I was deserving. I didn't believe I was adequate. I didn't believe I was enough. And so I believe that in order for me to kind of synthetically induce those things, I needed other people to step into my life. I needed other people to tell me something different about myself. I needed people to display to me that I was worth it, right? I needed to validate myself in the eyes of others. So instead of just recording the song that was on my heart, I'll think to myself, okay, well, I got to make sure it's good enough. So let me run it by somebody whose opinion I pedestalize, and I'm going to call it what it is. Call a spade a damn spade. The person who I'm putting on a pedestal, I'm going to go to them and ask them, what do you think about what I'm creating? Do you think this is good enough? And if they showed a mediocre response, it was not good enough. If they showed, quote unquote support of it, okay, it was good. So I was basing my entire existence off of that. And this is the danger of when you're consistently seeking this external validation. It doesn't matter what you're doing, it doesn't matter how you're doing it. So long as you are requiring somebody else to be your source, somebody else to be your permission base, you will forever need that somebody else. There are individuals who have created what seems to be a successful life. And again, I'll point it back to music or the entertainment world because that's what I come out of, right? That's what I knows. You have individuals who, after having millions of records sold, tens of millions of records sold, hundreds of millions of fans around the world, done tour after tour after tour, they made more money than they know what to do with, and they still have this insatiable need to get people's opinions, to get the approval and validation. They need the crowd. They feed off the crowd. They can't create anything without a response. When somebody says jump, they say, damn it, I don't care how high, I'm already up. That's the energy that, quite frankly, a lot of individuals are carrying. And so I would never wish that upon you. I would not wish that you find yourself in a place where all your greatest hopes, dreams, desires have manifested, but you are a slave to it. Again, I call it what it is. I do not want you to wake up one day and say, wow, my dream has come to fruition and it sucks because I feel that I am a prisoner to it. And that's what will happen when you are consistently looking and seeking the validation and the permission and the approval of others. So back to the message at hand here, which is you never will, do not, and never did need the support of anybody to do anything with your own life. You do not need the permission of another human being living, breathing, or gone, transitioned into another life. You don't need their permission to do what you are here to do. That's why you were born as you. It was your decision. It is your decision to make. And there is never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be a moment on a clock that says tick tock, boom, now's the time. 12:30 now. That's what time. What time is it? It's 12:30 now. So no, you are never going to get that moment. I waited. Just in case y'all didn't catch this, I waited 7 years. I waited for something to change. I waited for something to hopefully appear, something to arrive, something to tell me that, okay, now is the time to delve into your true dream. And in all that waiting, nothing ever happened. And this actually ties into my favorite all-time quote by Sir Frederick Douglass. If you don't know who that is, do your due diligence, do your research. And Sir Frederick Douglass, my birthday twin, shout out to my fellow Aquarians out there. Sir Frederick Douglass said, by the way, he was a former slave. So he's a man who was born into slavery and I believe at the age of 19 or 20 evaded slavery. This is in the early 1800s, chattel slavery, United States. Do your research. Sir Frederick Douglass said, for 20 years of my life, I prayed on my knees for my freedom. And he said, it was not until I started praying with my feet that I was free. Now, for anybody who that might have gone over your head or, you ain't catching that, whatever it may be, I'm going to break this down for you. What Sir Frederick Douglass was saying was, when I was stagnant, waiting, hoping, wishing, when I was still, not still as in meditative still, like true stillness, right? But when I was inactive and not believing in my own freedom or my capacity to be free, nothing happened. But yet the moment that I stood up on my feet and took responsibility for my freedom, oh, child, Lordy Lord, I was free. That's when freedom became a reality for him. And that's when freedom becomes a reality for you. It's not when somebody comes knocking on the door and says, it's time for you to be free now. I think you should, you should really pick up all your belongings and, let everybody know that you're about to leave because I'm giving you permission. No, that never happened. That never happened. It was a decision that he had to make for himself. And once he made the decision, it was a done deal. And it is really that simple. And I promise you, everything seems so complicated until you actually do it, until you make the decision to do so. I thought to myself, how do I figure this thing out? How do I, become this individual who is living out their quote unquote dream, right? Man, how do I produce and songwrite, and how do I be? Oh, I do it by just doing it. Go figure. How do I play the keys? By playing the keys. How do I become a YouTuber or content creator? You might want to try creating content and then putting it out into the world. I know I'm being real sarcastic right now. I am. But I'm dead ass serious. The only way that things are going to move for you in your life is when you make the decision to do so. The only moment that is going to present itself as the perfect moment is the moment you have right now. So if that means that you're going to click off this video at this very second and never look back at this application ever again, if you never see my face again, well, you're going to see my face again. I'm going to just tell you that. But in this fantasy world, where, you may never see my face again, I would rather have you go through that and completely absolve yourself of any other messaging and just delve into your gift than to find yourself in a place where you are perpetually waiting and waiting and waiting. Because that's really what it is. When we're waiting for somebody's support, which is never going to come, or even it does. Let's say it does. Again, let's say somebody does support you, but you still don't believe in yourself. You're either going to fall short, as far as you won't follow through, you won't do it at all, or you do it and then you're looking for more of it. So it's always going to be problematic. But when you have your own belief, your own internal knowing that you can and you will, and downright you must, you will do it. And I'm not talking about grind, hustle, etc. I'm not a believer in that. I'm actually not a personal development guy. I'm not a self-improvement guy. I don't believe we're to be improved upon. I believe that we are just simply returning back to what we actually are. We are shedding ourselves of the lie and stepping back into the truth, right? And it's been a long journey for me. Trust me. I started in the hustle, grind, be miserable, do things that you hate until you can do things you kind of like. I'm not in that mentality. I'm in the mentality of live your bliss. Do the things that you love most. And this is coming from a guy who spent better half of a decade doing things he absolutely hated, telling himself that he absolutely loved. So it's always up to personal responsibility and accountability. And these are two frightening words for a lot of people in this generation. I do realize that. I get it. Trust me, I get it. It seems terrifying because when we were kids, we were told that, if you did something that was out of order, you would be punished. So it felt better to blame somebody. It felt better to point the finger at something or somebody else. The cat, the dog, the mouse, the rat, the this, the that. Anybody else besides me, because I don't want to catch hell for whatever it is that happened. But when it comes to universal law, when it comes to God's source, whatever you may call this magnificence that we're living within and we are a part of and we are the fullness of, there is no punishment and there is no reward. There is only personal decision. There's only a choice of, am I going to choose the good? Am I going to choose something that's going to fulfill? Am I going to choose something that's going to fill me up? Or am I going to choose something that's going to drain me? Am I going to choose something that's going to disserve me? Am I going to choose something that's going to destroy me? It's a choice, and it's not good and bad, and there is no tabs being kept. There are no records that are being kept on the good and the bad that you have done. So if maybe for the last 50 years you've been running from your purpose, guess what? Today's the day to start. And none of that 50 years means a damn thing. It's been 70 years. If it's been 170 years, whatever time has passed or whatever you have done in past does not matter. All that is consequential is this moment, the present moment, here and now. And the only way you will maximize the here and now is by sipping this tea right here. Shout out to the Fig Tree down in Roseville, California. Shout out to those guys. Not sponsored yet, but we're going to have a conversation for sure. You know, this is a different type of conversation for me. This is more conversational. I mean, I do, obviously, you know, it's a monologue, technically speaking. But I really do feel in my spirit like whoever is listening at this very moment in time, it's ironic because it's like this might as well be giving you permission, right? I give you permission to not need permission. That's essentially what's going on. But really, I want to iterate to you that this is nothing more than an expression from an individual who knows from my own life experience. And one thing I would never wish on anybody that I had experienced and taken myself through was being separated from the things or the thing that I love most, and that is to be expressed. If you would not wish this on a child, like, would you stop a child from play and joy and happiness? If you wouldn't do that to a child, then why would you do it to yourself? Why do you believe there's more value in that child or that infant than there is in yourself? That may be the question we actually have to unpack, is why do you feel that you are undeserving? Why do you feel that you are not worthy and adequate? Because you are. That's the reality. You are. You're more than enough. You're not just enough. You're not just valuable. You're invaluable. You are irreplaceable, indispensable. Don't let this fool you out here. There's folks who tell you, you know, from north to east to south to west, they will tell you. I know I did not point in the directions at all, but you catch my drift. There are people all around you, 360 aerial, who will tell you that we are this insignificant little nothingness in the middle of this vast universe. But I'm here to tell you that you are the significance. You are the creator of your own reality. All of us are co-creators. We are all a part of the divine. We are all one with the God force and the God essence. And so if that be the case, then how could you be valueless? If you are the very representation of the whole, the all, of God, then how could you think for 1 second that you don't deserve to have the life that you desire? The fact that you have the desire for that life already shows you that it's for you. Don't get that twisted either. Don't let these folks fool you. Oh, you must have no desire in order to be a spiritual being. Desire literally breaks down into a meaning of God. That's the etymological breakdown, right? Of God. So every desire is pure. It's only when we warp them with the ego mind that says, I want what that person has, or I don't want them to have that, and I want to have that. When we have this scarcity mentality, when we have this mindset that says, you know, somebody having means I don't have, therefore I must take what's theirs, this competitive mentality, that's when the desire is not an actual desire. It's not of God. It is something that you are projecting from that scarcity, that fear consciousness that was baked into you from the earliest stages of life. That's that internalized voice that we oftentimes call the egoic mind, right? But the true desire itself is for expansion. It's for greater life. It's for evolution. It's for expansion. It's for moving forward. It's for more of this life force. It's for more love, more peace, more joy, more satisfaction, more understanding, more enlightenment. It's for more life, period. No drizzy, no BBL drizzy, but it is a call for more life. And you cannot refuse that call. You can only suppress it. And when you suppress it, you deep press it. And when you deep press it, you feel depressed. The math is mathing on that one. And once you're in that state of depression, now you're going to look to the rest of the world in a pessimistic view. Pessimistic, not pesto-mistic. This ain't nothing to do with pasta. You're going to start to look at the world in a pessimistic view. You're going to start to see people who have, and you're going to start to see people who have not, and you're going to see the ones who have as the villains and the ones who have not as the victims. And you're going to start to create this narrative of woe is me, and, you know, if only I had what they had, and this person doesn't deserve to have what they have, and I wish nobody had what they have, and it would be better if nobody had. Like, that's when you start stepping into those pessimistic views. That's when we start getting, radicalized in a lot of different ways. And I'm no longer a politically motivated individual. I say that. I definitely got caught up on the left, and the right. Okay? Let's just say I have a little bit of an extreme personality, so I can definitely sway all the way. But I'm at a point, this point in my life, where none of that means anything, because I subscribe by the philosophy of Nunya. The philosophy of Nunya is the philosophy of none your damn business, which means minding one's own business. That's the entire philosophy right there. The philosophy of Nunya. Simple. Oh, what's that over there? Oh, that's Nunya. Nunya? Yeah, none your damn business. Okay. What's that over there? That's Nunya. Nunya? Yeah, that's Nunya over there. Oh, okay. Nunya what? None your damn business. Okay. Oh, what's within here? Oh, that's Summer. Summer what? Some of your damn business. And it's time for us to get back to Summer or Allah. You understand me? It's time for us to get back to the core, to get back to what is truly ours. We cannot control what the next person does, and it is not our responsibility, but we are our responsibility. We have been given ourselves to be caretakers, to be stewards. You understand me? I'm not looking to get all biblical on your ass today, but that's the God-given truth. That's the honest truth. We are the ones who are responsible for ourselves. And it's not to say we are alone. We are taken care of. We are tended for. And when we mind this business, when we take care of our own energy, then life flows in a beautiful way. I cannot explain to you what started to manifest for me, what started to happen in my physical experience the moment I made a decision to step back into my gift. The moment I decided to step back into what I love to do most, doors open, swung open. You know, things that I could not even have premeditated myself. I could not have planned and plotted them in this sequence or in this way myself. Things started happening. I meet my managers, and, you know, I start getting introduced to DJs here and DJs there and promoters here and promoters there and these artists and these producers. And every single day something is happening simply because I made that decision. And so maybe there's some of you who are simply afraid to make the jump because you don't know what's going to be on the other side. I'm probably actually going to make a whole video on that. On you know, take the leap and you will grow wings on the way down. Or damn near take a leap and you will simply elevate. There won't even be a down. But you won't know until you do it. And nobody else can do it for you. It doesn't matter how many people you watch to inspire you into it. Trust me, I done waited for inspiration and for motivation and for perspiration, damn near every type of Asian you could, creation, non-nation, denomination, every type of Asian. I was waiting for something that would be my answer, something that would, again, compel me enough to step into it, until I realized, bruh, it's literally a decision that is made within yourself, and that decision is to say yes to what is saying yes to you. Is to say yes to you, who you truly are and what you truly are. There are things you know that you love. And it was always funny when I used to do coaching calls. You know, sometimes we would get into purpose and things of that nature. And by the way, I'm not doing coaching calls anymore. I'm just putting content out into the world. That's just not my thing anymore. Unless you got like $500,000 or something like that, I'm probably not going to do it. But nevertheless, I remember investigating, as I often do, you know, about purpose and why is it that you're afraid of your purpose? And a lot of the times I would get the answer, I just don't know what I want to do or what I like to do. And at first I believed folk. I really did believe people like, oh, okay, maybe I'm a rare type who, you know, has this inclination of the things that I enjoy most or the thing that I love most, whatever, right? But then I realized, no, that's a whole crock right there. That's a whole crock. We know what we love, and most times it's hidden in plain sight. Like, you know, you watch comedy 24/7. You at the job watching comedy videos. You at the house watching comedy videos. You know, you're obsessed with, you know, everything about every comedian. The only thing you just have not done is write your own joke and tell your own joke or stand on the stage. Like, the only thing you haven't done is express that. But we all have clear as day indicators of what it is that we actually love most. But it's the stories around the thing that keep us from the thing itself. That's going to be another video I'm going to get into for sure, is, you know, letting go of the stories that we tell. And the stories are what keep us from actually taking the step. They work as this false protection mechanism, right? We tell ourselves that it's not going to be profitable, or, I can't pay my bills off it. So definitely not that. That I'm going to be laughed out of the building, that I'm no good, that I can never make it, that, it's so crowded and saturated that you're going to tell yourself an infinitum of stories. But that does not take away from the reality that you do, in fact, know exactly what it is that you love most and the things that you love most. Maybe there is a sequence of them, but you may also judge them from a lens of, but this thing is not profitable and that thing is. I'm going to tell you right now, we live in, what year is this? This is 2024 as this is being filmed. Maybe you watch this in 2054, 2084, 3084, whatever the hell it is, right? But this is going to stand as truth then as it does right now. You, my friend, yes, you live in a world where everything is profitable. Everything is a business. I remember hearing this message from, I think it was Kate Northrup, I believe it was. I think it's her. I'm crediting, maybe it wasn't her, but hey, you get the credit today, so go ahead, girl. Where she started doing this practice, she started with a coffee shop of seeing money everywhere, right? And she said, I started with the coffee shop because it was just a regular place you'll go. And so she started at the doorknob. And she said, okay, so this doorknob was obviously paid for by the owners of the coffee shop for the door to be installed. Or maybe the people who created the door paid the doorknob people. The doorknob people paid the people who, created the piece or created the metal. The people who created the metal paid the people who are mining the metal. The ones who are mining the metal pay the people who own the land. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a perpetual, money is everywhere. And that's just the doorknob. We're not even gotten through the door yet. We haven't even ordered a damn tea yet. We haven't even ordered a tea yet. We're just at the door, and there is that much exchange happening. But when we're placed in this fear and scarcity mindset, when we're perpetually watching the news and listening to what's going on out there, we're in this mentality of scarcity and lack and not enoughness, and it keeps us from stepping into our true purpose. And so, in closing, my message is really this. It's time to give yourself permission, because nobody else will. There will never be a day, a moment that is more perfect than this one. And don't beat yourself up for not taking this one or the next one. Don't ever beat yourself up. Be kind to yourself. That's something else I wish I knew along the way. Be kind to yourself the whole time, but just know that every moment is that moment. When do I write the book? Right now. Day 1, page 1, word 1. When do I write the song? Right now. When do I start the horse riding? Maybe not immediately, but I'm sure you can get a broomstick and do the little yeehaw thing we used to do back in the day. You can do something about it. But do not let your dreams die inside of you. Please don't. Please don't. That's the one thing. I don't have any regrets. I really don't hold regrets in this life. I think they are a waste of mental and emotional energy. But I do know that the one thing I do not wish even upon those who I felt justly and rightfully resentful towards, which I, again, have also am in the process of continuously letting go. I say it that way. I wouldn't wish that upon them, for them to live a life and never have actually lived, to leave this earth, this life experience, and never have experienced who and what they truly were. And so that's really the purpose of this video. That's it. And if this reaches you, it reaches you. And it might not be for today. Maybe it's for tomorrow. Maybe it's for 100 tomorrows from now, 1,000 tomorrows from now. But one day this is going to seep in. And once it does, that's the day.
Fell in love with the moonlight. I fell in love with the sunshine. Fell in love with the light. Fell in love with the night. I fell in love with the full moon. Fell in love with the night. I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's night. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking a 360